Welcome, everyone. I'm Steve Schlisky, the chair of SF NATA's Programs and Activities Committee, and welcome to another tutorial. Today is going to be on Spark training. It's basically an introduction to Spark. Spark is very easy to use, and in fact, I'm going to show you 3 things you can do in Spark. It's so easy to use. I'm going to try and do these designs in 10 minutes each. And there'll be plenty of times for questions and answers. You've probably seen this. Patty and I created in Spark. It actually was sort of nice because we could share the project. So I could edit the project and Patty could jump in and edit it with me, which is one of the advantages to Spark. 2 people can work on the same project at the same time. I say inspired designs in 10 minutes. I would say I had a rough version of this in 10 minutes, and then Patty and I worked on it for a little bit and probably took another 10 or 15 minutes. But some other things that I've used Spark for, if you saw this card from last Saturday's event, I created this in Spark as well. And I was able to get our Emmy statuette in there. Looks a little bit different. This is something I made for next semester's spring schedule. We had an event with students, and this is a listing of classes in our department on the spring schedule. So you can see there's a variety of things that you can do in Spark. This is just a background I created for another event I did at Laney. These are just different backgrounds, postings on Facebook and things like that. This is something that I use in my lesson plan. Since we're all online, I do a lot of pictures and text in what's called Canvas. Those of you who are familiar with Canvas, it's what we use when we do distance learning. So this was a page that I dressed up one of my Canvas modules with. And just to give you an overview of the cost of Spark, it is a free plan, and it's a little confusing when you go to their pay side. You really want to do the starter plan that says free rather than the individual. The individual, you get free for 14 days, and then you give them your credit card and they start charging you, or you can tell them, don't charge me. But the starter plan is pretty much just as good as the individual plan. The difference is in the starter plan, you get less access to pictures. There's a lot of free pictures involved. You can still use the pictures. It's just that they're watermarked. And the individual account allows you to use more pictures and to get rid of some watermarks. And there's really no reason to use a team unless there's a whole bunch of you. If you're working in an organization, then it's worth it. But I think the free plan pretty much has everything you're going to need for Spark, especially if it's just you and you're creating stuff, there's plenty there. So this is a website, and it's the tools in here, there's specific things that you are allowed to do in a design for a website, but I sort of like the way that these are designed. This is something I did for Laney College. And what's nice is as you scroll through here, it allows you to add pictures. These pictures up here are all stock right in Adobe Spark. And as I roll through this, you can see it's got some motion to it. There's a couple of different things you can do. And I'm just scrolling down the screen. And again, this is something that you could literally create in 10 minutes to half an hour. It's really, really fast. One of the powerful things you can do is make these videos. It's not like Premiere Pro. It's very limited, but it lets you make really, really quick videos. And you don't have to have anything from outside. You can bring video in, you can bring stills in, or you can use all the stills that are right in Adobe Spark. So I'm just going to go and play this. It's something I threw together really quickly yesterday. So this is my Spark training title page of this very fine movie I'm about to make. This photo is stock footage supplied by Adobe for free. And here is my third screen, which is a split screen. It's got text on the left side and an icon on the right. And here is a time lapse I did out in front of my house. Credits are automatically added for any of the stock photos that you use. So that gives you sort of an introduction of the video. I'm going to go in here now and create a new video. So to make a video, I'm going to go to this plus. I'm going to tell it that I want to make a video. And I would just skip all this. It has some default things you can start with, but I like to start from nothing, start from scratch. You can actually call up one of these and trade out the pictures and the narration, but I like to just start from scratch. So now I'm in here from scratch. I'm going to try and do this in, like I said, in 10 minutes. Okay, again, I'm just going to tell it I'm ready. And it basically starts you with a screen. So this is my first screen. I'm going to add more screens by hitting the plus. But in this screen, I'm going to do a text and just call this My Very Fine Movie. And I'll go to plus and so there's my first screen. And here's my second screen. And I'm going to put a photo in my second screen. I'm going to hit photo. And it's going to give me these options. Upload photo, take a photo. These are free pictures. I can go to Lightroom, but let's just go to free photos first. Find free photos. Go in here. I'm going to say film. And so let's find something I haven't used. Let's do this screen. So now I've got that. And in here, I'm going to add some text. I'll just call this first screen. Okay, so now I've got the first one, which just says My Very Fine Movie, and the second one, first screen. I'm going to go back to this one, and I want to have some track in here. So I'm going to hold down this little icon, and I'm going to be able to record something. Welcome to My Very Fine Movie. This is the first screen. And I can play that back. Welcome to My Very Fine Movie. This is the first screen. So you notice there's music underneath. So that's just sort of default music. I can change that later. So I'm going to go to the second screen now. And I'm going to hold this mic down. And after that first screen, oh, wait, I screwed up. I'm going to do it again. I'll just record over that. And so this is the first screen after my title. Welcome to the theater. And now I can play this from the beginning. Welcome to My Very Fine Movie. This is the first screen. And so this is the first screen after my title. Welcome to the theater. And this was just a default ending. But if I want to do now a third screen, I'm going to go to plus. And now it knows to put the third screen here. And we're going to, I'm not going to do video right now because it takes a while to upload it. But I will do a split screen this time. I'll click on split screen. And on this side, let's go ahead and put a photo. And let's do a clapboard. And on this side, we'll do text. And I can make it real big. You can change size. And now I can go ahead and record. And so this movie is now ready to start. Take one, scene one. And I can play it from the beginning. Welcome to My Very Fine Movie. This is the first screen. And so this is the first screen after my title. Welcome to the theater. And so this movie is now ready to start. Take one, scene one. And that's basically it. One thing that it does that's really nice, let me create another screen here because I didn't see the credits yet. So let's go to one more.
Hey, Steve, are you using the Laney's free Spark app or are you using your own Spark app?
I'm using my own.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know Laney has we have our own. I mean, Laney has their own Spark app that I use. It's free that gives you all the options. But the problem is it has this Spark watermark on all the slides, which is kind of nice. I see there's a Laney College watermark on yours.
Yeah, it's just default. So you have a choice of having a logo or no logo. So this is one of the things about the free version.
Yeah,
is that I can take off this Laney logo and it'll just say no logo. If I take this off and see, so on a free version, you've got this logo that's embedded in there. Okay. But this is the difference when you pay for, when you get one of those paid accounts, you have access to less photos. So you can use this photo. It's just going to be watermarked. But there are plenty of photos that don't have watermarks on it. So I wanted you to see that. And then the very last, what's really cool is it does all the copyrights. I know this is hard to read, but this is all the photographers for this shot, and this shot, and this shot. That just keeps adding up all the copyright credits here. That's creating a video. Are there any questions about the video part of this?
Can you add your own credits too, Steve?
Yeah, so you can go in here and just double click, and I've done that on mine. So we'll say, open title.
And how's that? Do you include the music, or how do you?
Oh, good question. Let's go back there. So up here it says music, and you can do two things in the music. Thanks for reminding me, because I wanted to show this. So I'm going to play this again. Welcome to my very fine movie. And I go, you know what? I don't really like that music. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to change it to this. So I'm going to go to Paris 20s. And now I'll just change the music. Welcome to my very fine movie. This is the first screen. And so this is the first screen after my title. And you can actually change the mix. So if I bring this up, the music's going to be hotter. Welcome to my very fine movie. Is now louder, so that's how you mix. And so this is the first screen after my title.
Does the volume control, do you adjust each slide, or can you just, if you keep it set at one setting, it goes through the whole slide?
It goes through the whole. Yeah. So it doesn't do a mix like that. It keeps the mix the same. So one of the limitations, and for free, there's a lot here. One of the limitations is you can't duck down the music like you could in Premiere. Mm-hmm. You can't do a lot of the fancy, that sort of fancy stuff. And I've also tried, I can bring in my own music as well. I've tried to bring in a mix. I know I've done a mix with my voice and music in Premiere and brought that in here, and it doesn't work very well. Like I had a video where I wanted the music to change at every slide to be a new piece of music. And there was just no way for me to do that. I tried recording it outside of Spark and then bring it in, and it didn't really work very well. I keep saying, you get a lot here for free.
And Steve, are you using the computer mic or your own mic?
I'm using my mic on a stand. It's a SM58. Any other questions?
I have one quick one. How did you, excuse me, how did you get to the music again?
So across the top here, there's layout, theme, resize, music.
I see it.
Yeah. So in theme, so let's say, okay, I got my movie done. And I'm looking at this. We'll just look at this again from the beginning here. Welcome to my very fine movie. And it's okay. I want to have a little different look to it. So I'm going to pick this dark look. And I'm just going to take my whole video and change the look of it. Welcome to my very fine movie. This is the first screen. And so this is the first screen after my title. Welcome to the theater. And so this movie is now ready to start. It sort of made everything dark. But we can go and there's a couple of different, we'll do flare. It's going to add a little bit more color into it. From the beginning. Welcome to my very fine movie. This is the first screen. Color. And so this is the first screen after my title. Welcome to the theater. And so this movie is now ready to start. Take one, scene one. And as you can see, it also, the way the graphics come on a little bit different as well. Go back. Yeah, go ahead.
When you go to share that video, is that when it asks you if you want to share it to Facebook or YouTube or whatnot?
Yeah, when I go back in, I'll show that part of it. There's two things you can do. So these are all videos, and the graphics come in a little different way, and the way that one screen transitions to another screen, each one of these are a little bit different. And basically, you would start with one of these and then delete the picture and change it out to what you want to do. So you can start from one of these. I find that to be really cumbersome because we'll start with like 15 screens. And if your movie only has 5 or 6 screens, then you're deleting. But you can sort of see what Spark can do by picking one of these templates first. So let me go back and answer your question, Toby. You can download, and when you download, preparing to download. So this is just downloaded as an MPEG-4 if you do that. So if I don't download and I do it as a share, it'll publish, invite. So you can invite somebody to work on it with you, or invite, so it'll send it directly to them, or you can publish or send to a Google Drive. Those are your choices. Generally what I do is I go ahead and download it and mix it into an MPEG-4, and then I'm free to publish that wherever I want. If I hit publish, then it publishes to Adobe Spark, and they have all their stuff in one place. I tend not to do that because you sort of lose control of your content.
Got it. Thank you.
Any other questions? Yeah,
Steve, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
What if you want to use, create something to use within a project? What about the rights to the music and the visuals that you're using?
So all of these are just part of Adobe. So it's all the rights have been cleared already. So basically, whatever you do, you own those rights. You just can't sell the photographs, but you can make it as part of your project. So you can't just grab a photograph and call it your own and sell that photograph.
So I could download it as a .mov and then download it into his Final Cut, say?
Yeah. So that's actually, because this is so fast, and it does, like if you want to do a bunch of graphic stuff and don't want to go into After Effects and create a graphic look of just, text, I'll do that. I'll go in here and I'll create all that stuff here, and then import that project into I'll use Final Cut or Premiere. I edit on Premiere Pro. So yeah, this is just sort of a fast way to do a lot of stuff. And as long as you have a subscription to Adobe Spark, I don't think they really care that much how you use it. It's the same with Rush. If you know, it's inside the Creative Cloud. Rush is sort of the same way, and Adobe is getting into a lot of their apps now have free content that comes with it. So in Premiere, you can get some free stills for Premiere and free music and some free graphics, Mogerts. So some of it's free, but the more sophisticated stuff you have to pay for. So let me get out of this and go ahead and do I'm going to do a new. Let's do a Facebook post. So as easy as that film was to do, the Facebook post is probably even easier. So one thing that's really nice, you got all these templates. I mean, I'm just spinning through a lot of them, but that's not all. I'm going to go and I'm going to write film in here. Well, let's grab this one and see what happens. So I'm going to create from this template, and basically this gets me in the ballpark. I can change everything to this. So the designs are already created, and I can go in here and let's go ahead and use this screen, and I want to change this, what it says here, and we'll say Natus, let's go SF, Natus, ME, something like that. We'll go done. And I want to make this bigger. I can move that around. And one thing that's nice, I'm not sure you can see it, but it gives these crosshairs so you know when it's even with stuff. And this crosshair here tells me it's right centered. So it's really fast to put centered. And I don't like this icon here. So we're going to get rid of that icon. Let's get rid of all this. And I want to put in a image. So I'm going to upload a photo, this one, and just put that in there, and I can resize it and go in and crop it a little. Stick that up there. I'm going to go in and put some text. And you see it actually gives me some examples of text I can put in there. So let's use that text just to do something crazy. Move that here, make it a little smaller. And we'll say, give it a date. And I don't want this text down there. Get rid of that. And I can just go in here and say, you know, RSVP. Make that a little bigger. So you get the idea. In 10 minutes, you can get into a ballpark and do something really quick. So any questions on that? So those first ones I showed at the beginning of, all the different things I did for Laney College and for Natus. Basically, I go through, select a template, and just add to it. So with this photo, I was able to bring something in of my own. Let's say over here, let's get rid of this. And instead of bringing in, I'm going to bring in a photo. And this time I'm going to do it from Lightroom. And the beauty with the Creative Cloud is that all of my Lightroom stuff is in the Creative Cloud. And so what I'm seeing here is my personal Creative Cloud account. So let's go ahead and, because I love them so much, I'm going to put a shot in of my cat Jax. So I got Jax, and let's go back and do another photo from Lightroom. And my other cat, Bodhi, my other cat, and he's in a bag. Those of you who remember the Emmys when we gave out these bags for one of our Emmy Gala events. And then now I see it's moved into that. So we'll move this down. And as you can see, I get these little dotted lines that tell me that I'm centered with the picture. If the picture's off center, you can click it in and it centers. So it's really nice. Now I know that this RSVP is centered with this December 18. It gives you all these lines to make sure that everything is registered in the right place. It is just so fast and so easy to use. And then when you want to download this, you would hit download, and it gives you choices of PNG, JPEG, or PDF. So any questions on that? So I could actually change any of this. If I want to change the color of the background, I can do that. So this background is pink. If I click on here, one thing is sort of cool. I happen to know, Patty and I figured it out, that our Emmy gold color is FAB117. And that's our Emmy gold color. So you can just dial, if you know the color, you can just dial in the color, or you could pick from a template. And if I don't want this pink, and one thing that's actually sort of, I think is really cool is they know this color, the colors that go with this pink, they actually suggest a palette, what goes with that. So I think that's pretty cool also.
I also noticed you can change the width of each of those slices.
So yes, you can. So you just grab it here. So that's for that. And then the pictures you change by the corners. And these backgrounds.
That's really cool.
And it looks like I can even go back here. And now I'm going to, if I go to choose image, let's see what happens. I think this is going to put an image back there. So let's go ahead and grab, let's go back to film. And let's do that one. And that, oh no, it didn't. Okay, so you can actually take this image and let me see. I'm going to take this image. I'm going to send it to the back. So hit this layer button. There we go. It's moved it back. And then I can, with this picture, what I want to do is take it down, take the opacity down. So it lets me take the opacity down. Let's make it a little bit smaller. And do something like that. So there's, it's really, I really don't go into Photoshop very much because this is just so much easier and so much faster. If it's a simple graphic that you have to make or something to put on Facebook, or sometimes you see the backgrounds I make for our Zoom meetings, I'll just do it here. It's just so much faster.
So Steve, can you save different versions in case you want to try some things out and then go back?
Yes, I want to go to projects. And then here, there is a duplicate button. So you go to duplicate, and then I would, call this, post 2, duplicate, and abracadabra, duplicating project and saving your projects. Yeah, there it is. So now I've got.
So Steve, does Sparks create a project and save it in your own account so you can go back to them automatically, or does?
I should mention that the reason you make out a Creative Cloud account is that all of your Creative Cloud apps are all interrelated. This is the way Adobe is sort of structured their company, that if you're in Premiere or you're in Lightroom or you're in Adobe Spark, you have access to all of your media. So this is being stored in your cloud space in Adobe. If I want to store this locally, if I hit download, and then it's here. So it's at the bottom. I'm on a Mac. So, I can, now I'm opening it up. Now I have it open on my desktop.
This is really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing for free. I mean, what you're paying with your Creative Cloud account, essentially, by registering your Creative Cloud, it gives you all this for free. So let me just do one more thing. We're going to go plus. I'm going to create a web page. And again, it's basically the same. Once you know how to do one of these apps, you pretty much can do them all. So I'm going to add a title. Just go in here and say, this is my fine webpage. Add a subtitle. And I'm going to go to plus, and I can put a photo in here. If I just write web page in here, let's see what comes up. Great, we use this one. And there's my background. So scroll to start writing your story. So what I'm going to do, just to save time here, I'm going to do the ipsum thing, lorem ipsum. I'm going to copy that and scroll to start writing your story. So we'll do that. So I have some text in here, and I can click anywhere there's a plus, I can add something. So let's add a photo there. And now we'll go back to film. Now let's do animals. Just so you get a sense of all the pictures that are there. There we go. Stick another cat in there. I don't know what happened to this background here. Let's go. Get my web page back in there. So I have my cat. I can add a caption to it. Okay, now I'm going to go down to this plus and do some cool things. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to insert a video in here. So I'm going to click on video, and I'm going to go to my Photoshop. Heard of it, curious about it. Okay, so now it's embedded in there. So here's the web page so far. As we scroll down, and we get to this, and it'll play this. When I get out of the editing function, it'll play this within there. Then I'm going to go to plus. I'm going to go button, and I'm going to edit button. We're going to go to our website here, SF Natus Home. SF Natus Home. And mesf.tv. Save. So now, when you click on that, it'll take us to the our ME website. And then I'll go down here. Plus, I'll just keep adding. Let's put some more text. And what else can we do here? Well, we'll do a split layout first. Add an image. Let's grab something more. We'll go back to animals.
Hey, Steve, I gotta get going, but you're gonna. I'm actually on my lunch break, but you're recording this, right?
I am recording it, and I'll edit it, and probably tomorrow it'll be posted.
Great. Yeah. Thank you so much for the crash course. I'm definitely gonna start playing with this. I actually see a lot of potential for using it instead of Photoshop, out in the field or something really quick.
Great. Sounds great.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
And then if I want to flip these two, I can just hit this little thing. It flips the two, and we'll go down. I want to just show one glide. I'm not seeing the glide thing. Split screen, photo grid. Add some photos in there, and it'll just reformat it as many photos as you want to add. And again, you can use their photos, or you can upload your own photos. And so now I'm just going to save, and we can see how this all looks. So now I can scroll through this. And there it is, Glide Show. So I just wanted to show you Glide Show. So I'm going to add some more photos. And the Glide Show will bring up another. So as you scroll through this, it just brings up pictures another way. And these little boxes on the right come up, and you can go in here. And if I want to put text, I can put text in here. You can do anything in these little boxes. So I can add another photo in there if I want. And then if I want to put a button, so now you can see as this goes, and we have text, we have picture. So now I'll do a preview. So now it's writing everything. And then here's the actual web. So it goes through, and you'll see all these buttons now are active. So I click on this Natus here. It's going to take me right to the Natus website. So, this software, this app has limitations to it, but it has a lot there. I mean, I think it's a great thing for free. And then here's all the credits. So these are all the credits of the pictures that I used as well. They're all written here. So any questions about all that?
I have a question. Where is it putting this web page?
That's one thing that I don't have a web page, so I'm not really sure how this embeds itself. So that's one thing I haven't tried since I don't have a web page of my own, and I haven't tried inserting it into WordPress or anything. I don't think WordPress would accept it. So I'm not exactly sure how to do that.
Well, I'm curious because I set up a website through Adobe Portfolio. And so I'm curious to know if you get actually an option for bringing it up there.
So right now,
I'll have to check.
Right now I'm in preview. There is a download. So let's see what happens. In share, I can publish and share a link. Yeah, this part of it, since I don't really deal with this, I don't know the answer to that one.
I'll take a look.
Yeah, I'm guessing. Yeah, I don't know. But maybe what happens is if I publish and share a link, let's see, oops, something gone wrong. We're unable to share your project. Please try again in a few minutes. So maybe when you share, it says create link. It has something to do with that. And I can send this to my Google Drive. So I'm not sure how you embed.
Probably through Portfolio, the same process where you can, or another web page, you just embed a button, pull a button up, it should take you to that. But it's a nice design. It's actually a little bit more intuitive than their Portfolio side.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you can pretty much go in there and figure it out. I mean, there's some other tools you can use, but it's pretty self-explanatory once you start using the tool.
I had one other quick question, and it was back to at the beginning when you were doing the videos. So I know in Lightroom, for example, there's only so much you can do with transitions and directions. And so with that first video, do you have a choice of how it's wiping or how it's transitioning to that next slide, or no?
You don't. So all that's baked in, but depending on which style you choose, let me go back to it. I went to this, but I wanted
No,
to.
Steve, I use the slideshow presentations a lot, and each of the different templates, they do have different transition
Yeah,
modes.
that's what I was going to say.
You have one that does dissolve. So it just depends. If you go through and start researching all those options, you're going to find each template has some different tools, like for transitions, layout, and as it flows. So it's interesting. And then you can customize it to whatever you want.
Yeah. So if I take this hero's journey, if I click on that, it'll load this hero's journey thing, and you can write over it, but it'll keep the same transition. So you can see the transitions that are baked in to this template. It always takes like 30 seconds for this to come up. And meanwhile, it's giving you little little sayings. They put in their little sayings about social media. And generally, I don't go through all this because it takes longer to load. I just start from scratch. So any other questions? Well, thank you all for coming. I hope that this is something you want to try out. I'll tell you what, I'm going to stop to share. And I will put my email address in there.
Hey, Steve, when you do the audio on your videos, because I mainly use the slideshow presentation, because I find that when I use the slideshows, and this is something, Susan, you might probably answer your question, it has more transition options. So depending on which slideshow I use, I usually choose it according to how it dissolves, and it does different ways of transitioning into each slide, as well as, the dissolving, but then as it fades in and splits and does all this moving. But have you found, Steve, when you do the audio over the video, because what I've had to do with the slideshow, I find that if I do a slight delay, you can actually paste your voiceover. Do you find that with the video that works too as well?
So video and slideshow are the same thing.
Oh,
So if you notice on here, when you first come in and if you've signed up, you don't see video on here. Slideshow is the video.
okay.
Yeah. But if you do it there, it's slideshow. If you do it at the plus, you'll notice it doesn't say slideshow here, but it does say video. So I don't know why they've done it that way. The other thing I should mention is even though I did this Facebook post, you could change the size of that. You don't have to be sticking to a standard Facebook post. And you can also, Canva is very similar to Adobe Spark, but Canva doesn't allow you to do any horizontal landscape versions unless you do a paid account. I'm getting a little bit of feedback here from Patty, I think. Yeah. So between the two, Canva has a couple of other options in their free version, but they only let you do portrait, a vertical picture, where this lets you do any a square or rectangle or vertical, whatever you want, and any size.
I'm absolutely impressed. I use Photoshop to create a lot of things, and it takes time. Definitely takes time. This was so fast. I'm not a big fan of Canva, so I definitely like this better.
I think between the two, I find this one easier to use, and you have a lot more options. So anyone else? Well,
Thank you very much, Steve.
Yeah, thank you all. Thank you all for coming. And stay tuned for the next program that we'll have coming.